everyone, and peace to be upon everybody who's watching this video. Today this video will be about the gender pay gap, where my team and we will be discussing a hypothesis basically on the gender pay gap between men and women. Now let me tell you, what is gender pay gap? Gender pay gap is the average difference between the remuneration for men and women who are working. And I'd like to discuss more on this, but let me pass the video to my team, Faradi and Azira. Research that are targeting on the widening gender pay gap that are happening in Malaysia. This research is based on 20 different public entities, which include our own universities, UiTM, UPM, UKM, UZIM, and many more. We all know that women graduate degrees more than men, but they eventually earn considerably less than men. This is a very serious issue that are happening in Malaysia and can be proven by the statistic that has been given by the government.
Just as what Farah said, the gender pay gap is a real thing, and even studies have found that male workers earn substantially higher wage than female workers. Statistically speaking, in Malaysia, women pursuing higher education is significantly higher than male. This inequality happens to disadvantage women, despite their educational achievement is even better than their male counterparts. This whole situation may have happened due to several factors such as educational attainment, personal circumstances, skill, job characteristics, and industries that may give employers a perspective that male workers are better to be employed.
Hey guys, well, before we move on the literature review, I would like to highlight on a very famous theory based on gender pay gap. It is actually being developed by Barrack and Van Porath it was developed actually by Barrack and Van Porath on 1967. This theory that is an observation of the labor supply for men and women in the labor force market. You guys can check it out on Google for further discussion or further info. Moving on to Virginia Granbait on Granbait 2006. Well, she has discovered that despite the number of women that are increasing in the labor force market, gender pay gap still exists. She discovered that males are expected to excel more than women in the working environment. One of the factors is due to men being the person that is expected to provide for the family, the breadwinner of the family, while the female are to care more for the family. And Malcolm Brynon on 2017 has discovered that the gender pay gap and the gender pay gap still exists despite the similarity of occupations between men and women. This is maybe due to the factors that female are expected to stay at home and care for the family more than male. Married men are said to earn more than married women. This is also due to the factor that when women are married, they are expected to apply for maternity leaves, and while men who are married are said that they will be more progressive. And gender pay gap also it moves together with age. Well, basically when male workers they are older, they're expected to earn more than female because again they are expected to be more progressive than female. Well, that's about it for the literature review from me. We will discuss more on how did we get all this data from. Let's move on to Hamiza. Hello everyone, I'm Hamiza Baharudin. Now I will explain briefly about the method we use to gain our data. The data we obtain from data.gov.my, which considered as secondary data. Basically, we use two data for our study. The first data is about number entry, enrollment, and gender-based product in public university. While for the second data, it is about monthly income of first degree graduate in public university by gender basis. Just an additional question, are you aware on the existence of data.gov.my? Let me tell you this. It is a public sector open data portal that developed in-house by Mampu and launched by our beloved YP, Datuk Joseph Intulu, Minister in Prime Minister Department at the Conference of Asian CIO 2014. The objective of data.gov.my is to serve as online one-stop center to access and download open government data. From the data, we have discovered population of 138,626 graduate from public university. Due to our focus on study, we have came out with 48,566 graduate from public as our sample from public university who able to get job and earning profile. From the study, we have figured out that wages starting from RM2,000 to RM5,000 and above are being monopolized by men rather than equal distribution of wage with women. Now, let's take a look at the data.
Hi guys! Since this video is going to be uploaded in YouTube, so I guess I'm going to be your YouTuber for today. So welcome to my channel, and my name is Adibah Nadira, and my part is description of data. And this is my pretty face. Thank you very much. Our data is about the different wages between female and male. Our population is the public universities graduate with the total of 138,626 and our sample is 48,566, which is the graduates that is secure with job or employment. The table shows the distribution of employees by gender and wages. You can see wages between 1,000 and below are dominated by women, and the 5,000 and above is dominated by men. The table is being described in percentage manner, and the average income for both gender is 2,000 to 3,000 ringgit Malaysia. Again, these data are being acquired from a reliable source called data.gov.my. We were to identify and calculate the statistical inference for these studies, such as the test statistics. In order to make decision making, we have chosen two sample independent as our test of hypothesis. The two samples independent, which consists of female and male, or to be exact, male and female, are being calculated using t-test due to unknown standard deviation. Hence, the formula to calculate t-test are mean of female minus mean of male divided by square of standard deviation female divided by number of female plus square of standard deviation male and divided by number of male square root. After calculate t-test and compare it with critical value, which is 1.6449, we had discovered that the critical value is higher than t-value, which is negative 0.2862, and it does not fall in the rejection region. Therefore, we fail to reject the null hypothesis. Thus, we continue to do a p-values in order to observe the significant level of our test. Unfortunately, we once again fail to reject our null hypothesis because our p-value, which is 0.3874, is higher than alpha, which is 0.05. So to conclude, we don't have enough evidence to say that male workers earn or have more wages than female, and this issue does not happen, at least in entrance level. Thank you for watching my boring but very useful and very knowledgeable video.
Hamiza, these are the files that you have to be settled by today. Please don't be late.
Wow, boss, there's a lot of fun.
Just get it done. Thanks. Hi, Carl. These are the files that you have to be settled by today.
Okay, boss. Thank you. No problem.
Okay.
Hi boss, are you free?
What is it?
I have question. The last time I got promoted was 2 years ago. So I'm just wondering if any promoted is going to be rewarded to me.
Mija, what are you talking about? It has just been 2 years, okay? Please don't disturb me. I'm busy.
But boss,
Mija, I have no time for this, okay? I'm busy. Adiba. Yes, boss. Please call up for Haikal. Okay, boss.
A few moments later.
Haikal.
Yeah.
Boss is calling for you.
Alright, thanks. Yes, boss. May I have you?
Have a seat. Haikal. When was the last time you got promotion?
Early this year.
Alright then. I would like to promote you for the manager position.
Wow, boss. That's fantastic. Thank you so much.
Congratulations. I am happy for you.
Can you please share on the skills that you have?
I can speak fluent English, Bahasa Melayu, and Mandarin.
Okay. Any specific skills like on Microsoft?
I can use Microsoft Word, Excel, and PowerPoint.
Oh, anything other than that?
Not really. I can eat fast.
What? Okay. Thank you. Can you please share on the skills that you have?
I can speak English, Bahasa Malaysia, Mandarin, Arab, Tagalog, Japanese, and French.
There's a lot. Great. Anything else?
I can use Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Excel, Photoshop, and Adobe Illustrator.
Impressive. You got the job.
Wow, great. Thank you so much.
You can start by tomorrow. Can you tell me on your experience?
Actually, I used to work in a company called Badco. I was the cashier at one of the retail shop for about 3 years, and I was promoted to be the supervisor, and I worked there for about 2 years, and here I am.
Oh, okay. So the position you are asking for is the manager, right?
Yeah.
Your experience is not as much to become the manager.
Oh my God! Really? Do you have any other position that you have to offer?
Not for now, sorry.
All right, thank you.
Can you please tell me about your experience?
I was an assistant financial manager in Sandabi Shah Alam for 2 years. After that, I was promoted as a financial manager. Then I worked in Nestle as a company manager for 2 years, and I was promoted as a senior manager.
Very impressive, Aikal. And the position you are applying for is the manager?
Yes,
No problem. I'm sure you have an adequate level of experience for this job.
thank you.
Okay, I think gender equality is important because if there are differences in wages between women and men, then you find that there will be unhappiness in both party. Okay? If the job has the same productivity and you pay differently, then one people will be unhappy against the other. So it's important to have gender equality. The inequality still exists in our environment, our industry, because there are more percentage of men who are the leader or who are the owner of any industry, and men sometimes view women as being less productive or have certain disadvantages against men. So it still existed. What make men think that they are more superior than women in terms of gender inequality is because men think that they are more productive than women. Women are subjected to many issues or problems, such as they get pregnant, they have family problem, more family problem than men, and they have some sickness that probably applies only to women. So women are more likely to take off than men, and that will be less productive in production. Probably in general we can say that men earn more than female, but it's also subjected to different categories of job. If it's a lower rank job, let's say if it's a fresh graduate, most probably in many industry the job equality is the same. So men or women will still got the same pay when they first started as graduates, but subsequently, if they move to a higher level of management, then you find that there will be some gender inequality, and men would have more pay than women, because the reason is basically, I think that industry expected more from men. I have worked with many industries before. I started off as a banker, and then I went to a security company, and now I end up as a lecturer in a university. So probably I don't feel the gender inequality, because in a bank there is a very highly tight pay structure, so there is not much room for a man to be more higher paid than woman in the same job capacity. So I think there's not much gender existed in a banking environment. Similarly, also in academic institution where it's a government owned, and government do not practice gender inequality, so I don't find any gender equality in my work environment. The factors probably that would cause women to be paid less than men, I would think that there are few things that should be highlighted. The first one is that women are more limited towards going for work, because they are being habited by the need of their family, their husband, which come first more than their work, while men do not have to entertain the need, because they have a wife at home, and they are more free to have spend more time at work. Also, there are some type of job which do not allow women to be in it because of the difficultness in the job performance. Okay, and also I think the emotions of women itself probably also add up, because women are more emotional than men, and probably that will be a negative factor in trying to give the same pay between men and women. Particularly the industry that I think would be gender inequality is like petroleum industry, because petroleum industry requires workforce to be more demanding job. For example, they have to go to the place where oil production is being held, and that is a very difficult task. Also, could be manufacturing industry. Manufacturing industry required a lot of things that probably sometimes is difficult for women to perform. Okay, and they also meet with a lot of dominant men. Dominant men in the term that most of the workers are men, so they have to deal with men alone. Okay, so I think that are the industry that probably gender inequality will exist. In regards to government policy or government tasks, I don't think that the government has gender inequality. So far that I know of, that government is always carrying the gender equality to whatever post that is held by their public civil servant. So there is no requirement that the government need to do something in order to create the gender equality on the government side, government sector. But in the private sector, there is, like I was saying, there are some industry which have gender inequality. The government has to push for further law that will disallow the gender equality to take place. For example, a tight pay structure, and also a very good what we call SOP, system operating procedure, that doesn't give rooms for men to do more things than women, so both of them are equally at task. I think today is no longer like in the past 20 or 30 years ago, where women are being less accessible to many things. Today, today's working class, I think men and women are the same equality. They have the same education background. They can do the same thing, and they are exposed to the same exposure between men and women. So with that regard, I would think that the industry, the top management should look into the gap in pay gap inequality as something in the past, and they should revise procedures that there won't be any existence of gender inequality.
Okay.
Do you think gender pay gap still exists?
Not in Malaysia, I suppose. Not really in Malaysia.
So why did you think so?
That should be based on my experience. We do not have any differences in terms of payment in our salary based on gender so far as my limited knowledge is concerned, but I'm not really sure about other countries.
Do you think that male earn more than female?
No,
Why?
because we receive similar amount of salary every month.
Have you ever experienced pay gap?
Not so far. Not so far.
The next question is, what are the factors that may affect the gender pay gap?
I don't find any factor. Well, actually, it has to be based on the workloads. It has to be based on amount of works that you have been asked for you to deliver at the same time. I don't find genders to be differentiated in terms of salary. I don't find it.
So, what can women do against wage differential?
What can a woman do to go against wage differential? I think at the level of human being as workers, there's nothing more that we can initiate. It has to be coming from the policy of the government, policy of the ministry. So what we can do best is only to raise this issue up, to highlight that after all, workloads that we are supposed to attend to are similar as to those men. So it shouldn't be a differential in terms of salary. Yeah.
In your opinion, do you think that the government has taken initiative to narrow down the pay gap?
In Malaysia, yes, we do not have that a gap actually existed so far. I'm not really sure, but as far as my limited knowledge is concerned, I don't think that we had applied any differences in amount of salary between male and female in any sector so far. Especially, I'm talking from the perspective of education sector, because we are paid similarly, but the difference is only in terms of our position. Yeah, not really due to genders. I don't find genders that contributes to differences. Again, I keep on saying the same thing. Differences in amount of salary. No, I don't see it.
Hi, I'm Haikal. The result of the wage function estimate revealed that wage differential prevail between level of education, races, job skill and industry characteristic. Even though women receive more degrees and have higher number of graduates, the results show that female workers have lower leadership potential as being less productive and less creative in their work performance. Gender pay gap in Malaysia, however, has been narrowed down due to the number of women working have been increasing over the years. A study revealed that women participating in the labour force and contributed to an increment up to 53.3%. Pierre Nantum, the CEO of The Sun, said the future workforce must be an equal workforce. The gender pay gap is an economic and competitive imperative that matters to everyone, and we must all take action to create significant opportunities for women and minimize the gap. Instruction and preparing are imperative determinants of gender wage differential. The instruction and preparing among women workers must be redesigned before entering the work field. When women are given the similar opportunities as men, women can be at the level that is expected and needed by employers.